Excuse me?
Hi.
Hi. If you could describe your business in one sentence, what would it be?
Yes, my company is called Sunday Blues Creative, and it is a luxury candle business.
I love that. Can I get some pictures of you right here?
Sure.
Nice. I'll have you actually smelling them, kind of like you're walking around. Yeah. So, what would you say made you start your business?
I would say that it started on Sundays because on Sundays it was usually the end of the weekend, and I was not looking forward to the week starting. It was a bit blue.
Mm-hmm.
And the name came to me one day. I was listening to music really loud, and I was thinking of if I ever started my own business, what would I call it? And it absolutely washed right over me. It's like Sunday Blues. That's what it would be. And
Wow.
it kind of changed the narrative as to the feeling of sad, a little bit depressed on Sundays. And just even thinking of the name got me excited for what I could do, what the possibilities were. And a few months later, it came into being.
Wow, that's so beautiful. It just came to you.
It did on a Sunday afternoon.
That's
Listening to music.
such a poetic name as well.
Thank you.
All right, let me get a couple right here. If I could have you holding onto your wrist. Yeah, beautiful. What would you say is one of the biggest challenges you faced when you were starting out?
Having absolutely no idea how to run a business, starting from scratch. But one of the things I would say is to always ask questions. I went to other women especially, who had something that I wanted. And in that case, I had a friend who owns a hair salon. I went to her. What do I do? How do I do taxes? What are the first steps that I take? And it was really, really neat to have other women just to tell me not to be afraid, just to go for it. That's the hardest thing, is starting.
Nice. Let me get a couple of you right over here. I can have you turning around. And yeah, I'll have you hold your hands behind your back in these ones. That's so beautiful that you found a community of women. And I feel like that's so important.
Thank you. Women have to support women always.
Yes, I agree. What would you say has been the most rewarding aspect for you so far of building this business?
The most rewarding aspect of building the business has been the fact that I can do something and I can do anything that I set my mind to. Prior to Sunday Blues, I had never really done anything that I could call my own. I had done other things. I had worked in other jobs that were fulfilling for a moment, but it wasn't mine. It wasn't something that I cared for in a way that was unique and special to me. And I think back, my favorite memory to this day was the first time I sold a candle at the Sausalito Farmers Market, and I had no idea what I was doing. It was my first time setting up. I got the wrong tent. I made so many mistakes that day, but I sold one candle, and I knew that if I never sold a single candle ever again, it was okay, because I had done it. I had set my mind to something. I had been really confused and really scared and completely out of my element. But I followed something that I wanted to do just for me. And at the end of the day, no one can ever take that away from me.
I love that.
That's my favorite.
I love that. I feel like you get such a sense of accomplishment when you start something from scratch and you build it and you make it happen.
And learning every single day and, making so many mistakes along the way. But at the same time, I've learned over the past few years in particular out here in California to be gentle with myself. Because if I'm not, who else will be?
Mm-hmm.
And I am human, just like everybody else, and so I make plenty of mistakes. And I'm very grateful for the company to be able to trial and error without the fear of worrying about what a higher up or a boss or a coworker is going to think. And that's been a very rewarding experience for me, to be entirely reliant upon myself. Because again, that's never been the case in any other realm of my life. So
yeah,
I enjoy it.
I love that. I can see it. I can see it in your eyes.
I like being the boss of myself with no one.
There's a lot of freedom that comes from it, I feel like.
Yeah,
all
lots
right,
of freedom.
Let me get a couple right over here.
Okay.
You can actually get some with you holding your basket or your bag. It looks really cute. I'll get further back and get some full body shots. Okay. And if I can have you crossing your ankles and then holding on to there we go. Perfect. So you mentioned there was a lot of trial and error. What would you say were like some of those little errors that you made in the beginning that you would
oh my goodness
not make now?
Over ordering.
Yeah.
Over ordering supplies. not having a proper inventory system, which, truth be told, still has room for improvement. I would say winging it is still my preferred mode, even though I'm aware that it's not the most efficient, but it's what I do and it gets it done. Yet I am very aware that there are other different systems that I could use and utilize that would make my life easier.
Nice. So, I love the honesty.
So over ordering, under ordering, not being as meticulous as I could be, and that has to do with my ADHD.
Oh, nice.
But I work with it, and for me, it's more of a practice of being gentle with myself. For example, yesterday, I have a big show this coming weekend here in San Francisco, and yesterday I was making my candles and realized I misordered the labels. Typos. I was like, oh my God. And my type A, it turns out I'm type A now that I'm a business owner, was like, oh, everything's screwed. It's ruined. When really, no one's going to notice. No one's going to notice. And what is it worth? Having a small typo or not showing up for a show that is a huge honor to be a part of. And so being a business owner, Sunday Blues has taught me to not sweat the small stuff and to learn next time, be more diligent before you check out.
I love that.
It's being human. There's a lot of practice to be human that maybe before this experience of being a business owner, I didn't quite get, and I took everything very seriously or not serious enough. And so it's a nice medium that I get to practice on the daily basis. So.
Yeah, so you get to learn so much about yourself and grow. Like there's a lot of self-growth that you have building a business.
Good and hard ways.
What would you say are some things that happened even better than you expected them to be? Like that you would say were good things that you accomplished that you would teach to someone?
In the art of making candles, or just in the aspects of being like being a young woman? Or
I would say, like, for example, you were mentioning like the things that you could have done better, trial and error. What were some things that you saw actually made a big difference and made a big impact positively in your business that you did, that you would do again?
Oh, great question. High quality products, materials, supplies. I have some friends that are also in the candle business, and when we were discussing, they've been in it a little bit longer than I have, and when we were discussing materials and cost and supplies, etc., they had recommended, I go a much cheaper way. And I was like, absolutely not. I know what my candles are worth, and I'm willing to spend the money because it's a product I would buy, and I appreciate and like nice things. And so I'm only going to sell something that I find worthy and appropriate. And the cost of my products matches that. And to hear the feedback from customers, both family, friends, and people from markets, feels so good. So the value, high value products, because if I'm going to try and sell something that's high value, it better be.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so I feel like that's like playing the long game instead of being
correct,
more short-term thinking.
Correct. And I'm very, very grateful that I'm in a position to where I do have resources that allow me to have lots of trial and errors. And so when it comes to cutting costs and trying to get the most efficient things done in the most efficient ways, I'm okay that I have a very soft landing and a larger grace period to go, oh, that didn't work, that did. Mm-hmm. And so far, in the year and 1 week that I've been in business, it has proven to be worth the effort. So
I love that. All right, let's get some pictures right here with this background. Can I have you put your bag on the side? And then we'll have you about 10 feet back. And we'll do some more standing body ones, and I'll get your full body in these. And this one, if I can have you more sideways, more profile. Yeah, and then popping your front knee up a little bit. Nice, gorgeous. I get a bit further back. Let's do a couple right here. If I can have you do one step forward and just by this flower. Yeah, nice. Let's have you holding onto your necklace in this one. And can you get a little bit closer to the flower? Yeah, nice. You're right in it. Let's have you do one step forward just so that the branch isn't in your face. Yeah, so you're like between the branch and the flower. So one tiny step backwards. Yeah, there we go. I know, it's very minuscule. All right, nice. What would you say to someone who is about to quit right now? They just have an idea. They're starting out. They hit their first roadblock. What would you say to them?
take a breather. Take a breather. Sit on it. Don't make any rash decisions. And to ask questions. I would say utilize the resources, whether that's someone intimate in your life that has done something that you want to do. Definitely ask them. That person wants to help you. People enjoy helping others. That has been my experience. The internet has the answer to everything. And I would say pause. Don't lose your mind, because there's one small thing, and to ask for help. For example, about a year ago when I first met you, I met you to get pictures to make a website. And I have zero IT background, like less than zero. But I had it in my mind that it was part of my experience, part of the process to be a business owner, to be, a new woman, an entrepreneur. I had to be the one to make my website. I was not letting go of that idea. And the amount of tears and therapy sessions that I had over my inability of making a website, it was so overwhelming. I didn't know what to do. And I ended up selling a candle to a friend of mine who I was kind of, as a bit emotional and telling him, like, I don't know what to do. And he was like, well, hire someone. It was worth the cost to have a professional do what they do best, who I make sure that everyone I work with, I like them to be female. I like them to be doing something that they're getting started as well. So we're all in this together. Help support that woman who knows what she's doing, who wants to help me, instead of me losing my mind watching what felt like thousands of hours of YouTube videos, only to have no idea what I was doing. So I would tell someone new to ask for help, to pause, take a minute, and then find a solution. But don't give up.
Nice, I love that. Outsourcing for sure is important. It's very hard to let go of that. I feel like especially when you're an entrepreneur and you have a dream and you have a vision, and you're very clear on that vision, outsourcing some of the elements can definitely be hard.
It is. I would say that in the aspect of outsourcing, because you might hear something that you didn't know was an option, which is usually, in my experience, what the end result ends up being. Where I'm a very black and white thinker. I have an idea in my mind and it needs to go according to plan. Well, that's not the way that life operates. And so one of the beautiful experiences that I've been able to nourish and to retrain my brain, to learn, to massage a new muscle, is that openness for change, openness for interpretation. That just because I can't visualize something right then and there doesn't mean that there's not a better way for it to be done. And that's a very difficult thing to learn. But when you're just getting started out, I don't like using the word have to, but it is very much in your interest to allow space for changes, just like in other parts of your life, but definitely in business, because it will not go according to plan. Is my advice. It will always change, and usually for the better.
Nice. Adaptability. I feel like that's important. Let's do a quick couple right here. If I can have you put your bag on this side. And I'll have you go a little bit further down. Just right there. Should be good. And then we'll do actually what you just did was perfect. The little hair flip. Okay. Let's do a couple simple ones. We'll do some like soft ones. And if I can have you put all your hair in the back though for these. Yeah. And then it'll be a very slow hair flip. What do you feel are the traits of a successful entrepreneur?
Adaptability. Openness. Humility. Humility to believe that you don't know it all. And again, that comes into, I think, the openness and the adaptability to other people. Let someone who knows what they're doing guide you. But you have to ask for it. That was difficult for me. I didn't want to ask for help. Yeah, I wouldn't be where I am now if I hadn't. So I don't remember what the question was.
Traits of an entrepreneur, but you answered them very well. Let's do some over here. Okay. If I can put your bag actually on the side in these ones, and then I'll have you sitting on the edge of the bench over here by those flowers. Yeah, perfect. I'll start further out, and then I'll get some closer ones.
I think my sister has a headshot for her company.
That looks like this?
So that's what my mom put.
Nice. What would you say to someone starting their business right now?
Be fearless. Being scared is natural. Making mistakes is expected. but do one small thing that is in the right direction. I think each day, if that's what you can do, because even if you make 3 or 4 steps going backwards, if you can still make one forwards, that's more than what 99.9% of other people with great ideas are doing. So I think taking that first step and asking, and sometimes you don't even know what that is. I didn't know. So you ask people, what did they do? For me, before I ever started my business, I went to a bunch of craft markets and talked to candle people. I didn't like a lot of the answers that I got, but at least I knew more. And so I knew what I wanted to do differently than the other candle makers that I saw. And that motivated me more, because it was like, oh, I can do something different. Maybe I can do mine a little bit better. And I do. So,
Nice.
not to be afraid. Not to be afraid.
That's a beautiful answer. Let me get one last photo.
Okay.
And then I think we're good.
I might get tacos to celebrate.
That sounds delicious.